There's a lot going on this week, but all very quickly, let's dash into the color bar swirl of creativity, brands, sports, and media with TikTok's tips for 2026, some 1984 art, sounds from Switzerland, new horizons for the NBA and European basketball, Apple's not so little surprise, views on the 21st century US pop culture, YouTube versus fakers, an AI bill in India, and the BBC coming to YouTube. But first, a quick nudge, dear readers. I have a short, anonymous survey running to help me shape TCB this year. It's genuinely quick, really, 2 minutes. No emails, no deets, anonymous. Whether you're a regular or occasional reader, I'd really appreciate a little bit of input. Go on, give me a couple of minutes, click on the link, and it's a short Google form. TikTok's irreplaceable instinct. Now, that's what TikTok has called its advice for brands in 2026. TLDR, not virality, but connection. Sounds familiar. Here are three key themes. One, people are craving grounding through honesty, community, and shared experiences. There are pointers with phrases like people will come to TikTok for unfiltered stories and brands showing real process and people over curated perfection. Call me jaded, but this sounds terribly familiar. We seem to be seeing new ways to push the quote authenticity and unfiltered themes a few times every year, not just from TikTok, but the entire ecosystem. We get it. Real is good, which would be just fine if authentic had not been co opted the way it has and nearly rendered meaningless by how performative and shaped it often has become. Two, curiosity becomes the new currency as audiences dive deeper into new journeys of discovery. Say what? Do you mean that great gift of the internet, rabbit holes? Quote, unexpected entry points where brands that show up thoughtfully with relevance and delight will earn meaningful attention. End quote. Also, apparently, audiences are hopping out of their For You feeds to explore in the comments and search bar. So now we don't defer to the algorithm? Is FYP not the holy grail anymore? Three, impulse will lose to intention as shoppers reward brands that justify the why to buy first. This is promising, if accurate. One of my peeves with the e commerce aspect of social media in general is the push to buy, 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 something I've increasingly resisted both in my writing and personal life. If it is indeed true that the quote, little treat mindset is fading as consumers see clearer justification for every purchase, end quote, then I welcome such intentionality in shopping. I wouldn't hold my breath though, given the fundamentals that such selling is based on. So I understand this is a cool but regular resource for advertisers and brands that all platforms do, and it's bound to be self-serving to a fair extent. But I would like to hear how much it makes sense for actually those who want to create, engage, and connect with their customers or fans on the platform. Or is it just me feeling jaded? Curated cuts. All right, we've got three hits this week. 1984. I will invariably pause for anything to do with 1984, George Orwell's brilliant dystopian novel that refuses to lose relevance. Recently, we got some striking new art for a Faber edition from London artist Murugaya. I spotted the bold and bright illustrations and dripping paint in our very own Singaporean Japanese bookstore recently, and it has been nicely showcased by It's Nice That, including some early drafts as well as the interior illustrations. You should have a look. Sounds Swiss. Switzerland Tourism and Travel Switzerland partnered with French electronic music artist and producer Thylacine for this. The result? This little musical journey with the sounds of Switzerland. Trains, buses, boats, cable cars, birds, water all become musical notes, weaving a story of the country. Thylacine recorded and shot this across the country, spanning 16 days, taking 23 trains, 3 gondolas, 2 boats, and 1 bus. Colombia's flat Earth. Is the Earth flat? This is Expedition Impossible from sportswear brand Columbia. They have a message and an offer and a chuckle. Quote, Flat Earthers, this one is for you. Post a photo proving you've reached the edge of the Earth and get everything owned by the company. Disclaimer: the edge of the Earth is a visible physical end to planet Earth. We are talking infinite, sheer drop, abyssal void, clouds cascading into infinity. What is not the edge of the Earth? A cliff top in Seattle, or a cul de sac in Kansas, or your buddy Dave legally changing his name to The Edge. NBA Europe. The NBA is looking to set up a European basketball league with potential teams from the likes of Real Madrid, Manchester City, or other Manchester franchises, and city franchises from Paris, Berlin, London, and more. The NBA's global appeal is strong. Its brand, arguably most widely resident out of the American sports, and 5 of the last 7 MVPs in the NBA have been European. So the idea is powerful, but the devil lies in the detail. NBA is working with FIBA on this, and it is said the league will see 12 franchises with valuations up to $1 billion, plus 4 additional qualifying teams, with the NBA maybe holding a 50% stake, and FIBA and teams all having stakes in the league. The key resistance is from the EuroLeague, Europe's primary club competition in the sport. Its chief says, "I truly believe that this will only hurt the status quo rather than make it better if it continues to be in a way that it has been presented." Apple's Creator Studio. Apple's relationship with the creative community has been a strange one in the last decade or so. I was part of the time that felt the pain of its abandonment of Final Cut Pro as a sustained pro editing software back in the day. There was a distinct shift towards the casual creator, with iPhone and iPad utility taking precedence. Now, in a not quite expected move, they have announced Apple Creator Studio, a suite of tools pretty much looking to eyeball Adobe's suite, the Creative Cloud. While Apple still calls this studio grade power in the hands of everyone, that wide target demo will include editors, photographers, musicians, illustrators, and others, built as it is for use across iPhone, iPad, and the Mac, including the likes of FCP, Logic Pro, Pixelmator, and others, with AI enhancements thrown in. The biggest surprise for me is the price point. While not quite a like for like with Adobe, which has more and more powerful tools, at $13 a month, this seems a bargain. Take, for example, CapCut, widely viewed as a purely casual video editing software. For only editing across mobile and desktop, it costs about the same, $13 or $14 a month for the Pro version. Also, the individual one-off app purchases for most of these from Apple is still available, which makes those allergic to subscriptions quite pleased. Creative folk probably feel a bit unsure how Apple might support these in the longer run, but there is promise. Can't say I'm a fan of those icons though. Playlist. Culture check. You might have noticed how I'm not the biggest fan of the term democratization, not because of any philosophical or autocratic leanings, but because the democratization of something or the other is bandied about all too freely and all too frequently. It is liberally positioned as a virtue, taken for an unqualified good, used and misused and abused for various narratives. As someone somewhere famously probably said, just because everyone can doesn't mean everyone should. On a pretty interesting listen recently, I came across this quote, "But it also feels at the same time that everything is possible, and so there's no barriers, and barriers are what create cultural value." End quote. Now, this was from the Culture Journalist podcast, How 21st Century Culture Lost Its Way, with author W. David Marks and his new book. There's plenty other nuggets and nourishing food for thought on the pod, though it is an entirely US focused look at the last couple of decades in pop culture. Some quick hits. YouTube versus AI. The Big Red shut down a couple of huge channels that were using AI generated content to make fake movie trailers with over 1 billion views combined. Now, let's not be too quick to think this represents a wider trend. As the Futurism article I've linked to says, what this means for the rest of all the other slop polluting YouTube is unclear. The platform is still overrun with AI generated music, hours long informational videos presented in a boring or sleepy style, and even veritable snuff films. India and Brazil have draft bills looking to mandate that AI companies must pay for copyrighted material. Their population, their diverse local language content, and user base make these markets hard to ignore for the likes of OpenAI, Perplexity, and Anthropic. Javed Iqbal Sofi in Rest of World argues why India's plan to make AI companies pay for training data should go global. The BBC on YouTube. The BBC could soon make programs for YouTube after being put under pressure to produce more content on the increasingly dominant digital platform. There are some murmurs how this might be a dollar value deal with the platform, but there's nothing yet to suggest that YouTube is looking to pay for original content again. That's it for this week. If you've got thoughts, recommendations, or ideas to team up, let's talk. I work with individuals and teams on content and creativity. And if you like this, you can get the color bar straight into your inbox by subscribing on Substack. For something a little more eclectic and curious, there's also my bi weekly newsletter, Coffee and Conversations. Do check it out.